Hello, welcome back to my channel, welcome to February, and welcome back to normal service resuming. If you are new here, you won't know what I'm talking about, but I have had January mostly off of YouTube. The only videos that have gone out on my channel in January have been my weekly calorie crush updates, where I tell you guys whether I've gained or waned, whether I've gained or lost weight in the previous week. The reason I carried on putting those out was because I really appreciate you guys being my accountability. I really appreciate the fact that knowing that I have to tell you guys whether I've behaved tends to make me behave a little bit better. Not all the time, but a little bit. But apart from that, I took January off of YouTube, and I did it for a couple of reasons. One, money. Now, it might sound really strange to stop doing one of your jobs because of money reasons, unless you're incredibly wealthy. But I had been very, very lucky that my YouTube channel had begun to produce a regular income. I am massively appreciative of that. However, it had reached a point where to make it continue producing the income that I had begun to rely on, I had to stick to a schedule. The effort I was putting into sticking to that schedule and to growing the YouTube channel actually meant that I let everything else go. So I wasn't doing my eBay. Now, my eBay has always been my main source of income, and it will continue to be my main source of income, providing eBay doesn't disappear. And so the fact that I let that slide in favour of YouTube, I wasn't happy with that. I knew that I needed to find the balance back. I had bought so much stock in the second half of 2021, and I think it was a knee-jerk reaction to the lockdowns that we'd had. I think once we were allowed to go back out and go sourcing again, I think I'd got a bit carried away with that, and I'd bought so much stock and I wasn't keeping up with my listing. So to the right of me here, you guys can't see it, but there's a tall cupboard, like built into the house cupboard, walk-in cupboard. It goes back maybe 4 foot. There are shelves at the back of it, and then there's a 2 foot space at the front, floor to ceiling height. The shelves at the back were filled, the top 3 shelves were filled with listed stock. They were filled with coats that are bagged and tagged and ready to go. Underneath that, the space underneath that, so the 2 foot at the back, which is probably 4 foot wide, it's probably 4 foot in each direction, this cupboard. So there was a 2 foot back space by 4 foot that was full of unlisted stock, and then the front 2 feet floor to ceiling full of unlisted stock. There was a little space at the top where I couldn't reach to put any more up there. On top of that, there's a space next to the cupboard, and I had at least 6 bags of clothing rammed in there as well. I couldn't fit any more in the cupboard. It had started to come out of the cupboard. The new stock was just going in front of the cupboard. It reached the point I can't put anything else in, and I'm still buying, and I'm not listing, and I'm still buying. I had to get a grip on that. I had to make a concerted effort to drill down through my death pile and get it listed and get more stock onto my eBay store, feed what is supposed to be my main income. And I knew that to do that, I would have to let something else go. And so I decided I would take January off of YouTube. I did that. I'm now back. So how did it go? How did taking January off of YouTube, did it serve its purpose? Yes, it did, because as you've just heard me saying, I was talking about this cupboard in the past tense. It was floor to ceiling. So what I see now when I look in there, the bottom half back section, the 2 foot by 4 foot lower section, is empty with the exception of 1 bag of clothes which I have been given and I haven't yet sorted through. The next section is still coats, that's as it was before. The front section, at the bottom, there are a bag of shoes that I haven't sorted through. There are some toys that I haven't listed and some kickboxing gear which I really need to do. And there is a piece of material that I need to find what the material, large piece of fabric. Apart from that, it's gone. It's empty. All of the bags of clothes are gone. Everything is listed. I added, although it was supposed to be January, that I stopped doing YouTube, I started listing the day after Boxing Day. And I told myself I was going to do 20 a day, every day, until I drilled through the death pile. And I did. And I added, I think, 500 to 600 new listings to my store. Some of those are still in the pipeline because I schedule listings. I do X amount per day. And so as I completed the drafts, I left them in drafts, I moved them to scheduled, but you can only schedule so far ahead. So when I reached the limit of where I could schedule to, I've left them in draft. I'm scheduled up as far ahead as I can go, and I've still got over 100 sitting in drafts waiting to be moved along the system when I'm able to. So I'm delighted, really, really pleased and proud of myself for working through that death pile. Having said that, we're back in car boot season, and I've been buying again, and it's starting to rebuild on that side of the room now, but it's nowhere near the point it was at. It was completely out of control. I was just not doing the work. I was doing the fun bit of the job. I enjoy sourcing. I think most resellers would tell you the same thing. We enjoy going sourcing. We don't actually so much enjoy the work that is produced by that. Excuse me. So yeah, dropping YouTube for January really helped with that. It made me focus. But again, the other thing that helped was telling myself 20 a day, and then you can stop. So I've tried various methods of listing. I've told myself, I'm going to list on 2 days a week, and on those 2 days a week, I'm going to work all day. I don't like it. I don't like it. I find myself procrastinating or putting stuff off or popping downstairs to put a load of washing on and doing 16 other things while I'm there rather than come back here and do work. I used to do 10 a day. That was fine, but it wasn't going to work for doing my death pile. I've tried various different things. This worked for the short term. It worked for getting rid of that death pile. As soon as the death pile started to get down to the bottom, I definitely took my foot off the pedal, and I would like to step it back up again. But the situation is never going to be, if I hope, touch wood, never going to be as bad as it was. So yeah, doing no YouTube in January helped with that. Did I miss it? Yes, I did. I missed you guys. I missed talking to you guys about stuff. I missed it's funny, I missed the filming of stuff. There were quite one or two things that happened. I thought, if I would have filmed this, I would have filmed this. But then on the other side of the coin, I enjoyed being in the moment rather than watching the moment through the camera lens. So that was good. January's been a difficult month. Mum's been in hospital. Buddy's here. Sorry. Hi, Bud. You okay? Do you want to come up? No, he's gone again. Buddy was ill during January, so he's been to the vets again, haven't you? You went to the vets? Yeah, you were a poorly boy. He's got an ongoing kind of stomach issue, and he had a bit of a flare-up, so he's been to the vets. Mum went into hospital. Mum also, stomach issues. Mum has gallstones, and she had a gallstone attack. Gallbladder attack? I'm not sure how you describe it. This was not Friday gone, the one before. She'd had issues on the Wednesday and on the Thursday. She had the paramedics out a couple of times, but they hadn't taken her in. On the Friday, they took her in. Unfortunately, due to the current crisis facing the NHS, she was in the ambulance outside the hospital from 10 AM until 9 PM. They did not give her any fluids during this time. I'm assuming the reason they gave her no fluids was because she was in there with chronic stomach pain and they didn't know whether she might need an operation because they knew she had gallbladder issues. So I'm assuming that the reason they gave her nothing was so that if she needed to be operated on, she could be. Sorry, there's dogs barking outside. Unfortunately, again, the side effect of that was that she ended up with a kidney infection and the associated delirium that goes with that, and they hadn't noticed. So I rang on the Saturday morning, having not been able to speak to her much on the Friday because she was in the ambulance and she didn't get admitted till 9 PM. I rang her on the Saturday morning, and the woman I got on the phone was not my mum. It was like speaking to a stranger, and it was like speaking to a person with advanced dementia. And I said to her, have you had some medication? Because I thought perhaps she was off her head on medication and that was why she was talking this way. And she said, I don't know, I don't think so. And I said to her, is there a nurse there? Can you just pop me on to the nurse? And I said to the nurse, has she had medication? No, she hasn't had anything today. And I got off the phone and I thought for a couple of seconds, I was like, no, this is not right. So I rang back and I spoke to a doctor and I said, I need you to look at my mum. Something is very wrong. There's no visiting allowed. Otherwise, I would have been there with her during the admission process. I might have watched this deteriorating or occurring and been able to go, something's happening. But obviously, because nobody's allowed to go into A&E with them, nobody's allowed to visit, nobody who knew her was there to assess whether she was her normal self. So I spoke to the doctor and I said, I need you to look at mum. Something's very, very wrong. My battery's going. I'll be back. I'm back. Apologies if the angle's changed or anything. Obviously, I had to take the camera apart. Where was I? So yeah, I spoke to this doctor and I said something's not right, you know. And she said, "Oh yeah, she's got stomach issues." I said, well, "No, there's something else wrong." And I said that she's not herself. I said, she says she hasn't had medication, but she's speaking to me as though she's heavily medicated. And she said, "Was she not normally this way?" And I said, no, not at all. And she said, "Well, who looks after her at home?" I said, "She's fully independent. She lives alone. She's fully independent. I take her shopping and stuff like that, but she lives alone and she looks after herself and she's fully compos mentis." And that was when the doctor went, oh, we'll have a look then, because this lady we are dealing with is not the lady you are describing. So apparently urine infections, kidney infections do have that effect. They send you a bit doodle flap. And once they'd realised that was the problem, they got her antibiotics and they sorted her out and she's fine. But I was really worried. When I spoke to her on that Saturday, I was like, who's this on? This is not, something's very wrong. So she came home a few days, it was about 5 days she was in for, and she came home and she's at home now, taking it slowly and just recuperating, and she's going to be okay. Hopefully she won't have another attack of the gallbladder, but if she does, then perhaps they'll consider removing it. I don't know. She's got to change her diet entirely. So that was, the January's been eventful. I did have a night away with Lex and her mum and sister. They went to a cabin in the woods, a forest holidays cabin for Lex's mum's 75th birthday celebrations. And I went down for one night and stayed there. That was lovely, so peaceful, so quiet, somewhere I'd love to go again. That was really nice, and I was so pleased to be invited. It was lovely, and it was lovely to be with Lex's mum on her birthday. She's a lovely lady, and she's full of life. They did a zip wire. She's 75. They did a zip wire on the Friday. My mother would not be doing any zip wires, I know that, and she's a year younger. So, yeah, it was lovely to be there. That was nice. So overall, yeah, January, I've killed my death pile. Mum's been unwell, but she's okay now. The dogs are all okay. I have been working on my fitness level slightly. So I have not been to the gym for a while. There were various personal reasons why I was unable to go. And I had definitely realised that the muscle definition that I had begun to get in my thighs was gone. I could feel that my thighs had gone soft and useless again. And so I told myself I was going to walk a mile every day in January. 1 mile, more than I would normally walk. So none of the usual walking counted. It didn't count if I was going around Tesco's. It didn't count if I was walking the dogs, because that's what I do normally. It had to be an additional mile. And I set out and I've done that mile every day except one. I missed one day, and that was the day when Mum went into hospital and everything was a bit up in the air. And I simply didn't, sorry, it wasn't when Mum went in, it was one of the days she was in, and I didn't have time to do my mile. So I'm going to add 1 day on to the end. So I'm saying hello to you, it's February, but I'm actually recording this on the last day of January so that it can go up tomorrow. So yeah, I need to add 1 day on the end, but apart from that, I have achieved a mile every single day. I thought it would get easier as the month went on. It hasn't, but I'll be covering that because there's a little video coming out, not very interesting one, you might want to skip most of it, but just talking about why and how and what I did. Anyway, like I said, you'll see that elsewhere. Apart from that, nothing very exciting has gone on. Natalie's reasonably happy in her new job. She's not finding it very exciting, but she likes the people she's working with, which is good. Anthony's ticking along. He is definitely working more towards proper van life. So again, if you're new here, you might not understand or realise one. Anthony lives in a van. A couple of years ago, he decided he really wanted to go for van living. He wanted to go for van life. He'd watched a lot of YouTubers who had converted vans and gone off and travelled. And a couple of years ago, he decided that was for him. And so he bought a van and he started working on the inside. And just as he got to the point where he was ready to go off and travel, COVID. And obviously that meant he couldn't go off and travel. People who were living in vans during COVID were being told that they had to go and find somewhere to live. It was a difficult situation for van dwellers in general, and it was not the best time for Anthony to try and go off and live in his van. As COVID has eased, and I realise it's not gone, I'm not sitting here going since the pandemic's been over, but as the restrictions have eased and moving around has become more and more, this would have been the ideal time. So basically he's been in the van on my driveway ever since. He doesn't want to move back into the house. He's been offered multiple times the opportunity to move back in. He doesn't want to. He wants to live in his van. So he's been living on my driveway for 2 years pretty much. He goes off at weekends now. But the other side effect of the pandemic was that it absolutely killed his income for a long time. And that has left him behind on something. So now he's trying to catch up on that and get to the point where he will be able to go off and live in his van without worrying about debts and so on and so forth. So the idea is to build the income back up, rebuild any damage that was done to his income and his finances during COVID, and then be able to start again. So it's basically set him back by a couple of years. I realise that he is not alone and that a lot of people have been very, very adversely affected. I get that. So apart from that, we're all okay. I've had so many lovely messages from viewers saying that you miss my content, that you're looking forward to me coming back, that you hope we're well. When I mentioned on the Calorie Crush that Mum was in hospital, the hundreds of messages of goodwill. Thank you so much. I passed all of your messages on, but I said everybody is wishing you well. Everybody's hoping for a speedy recovery. She said thank you very much, and she is feeling better, and she's on the mend. This is her message. So yeah, it's we're okay. We're okay. January has been okay. I have done the things that I set out to do, and I am feeling quite fired up, ready to come back to YouTube, starting putting content out again. I don't know what and I don't know when. I don't want to get back into that rigid schedule. I don't want to be sitting here on a Friday going, what on earth can I put on my channel for tomorrow? I need to put a Saturday video out. What on earth is it going to be? Don't want to get back to that. I want it to be a lot more free and easy, a lot more ad hoc, more spontaneous. I'll film things if they're happening. I'll put them out whenever. So people have asked if the weekly waffle's coming back. It's certainly not coming back as a weekly waffle, but there will be occasional vlogs. I might do a day in the life. I might do a couple of days vlogging. I might do a weekend vlog. There will be some vlogging, but it won't be the weekly waffle as you used to know it. The other thing people have asked about is whether Lex and I will go back to doing the Sunday live streams. And I think the answer to that is not at the moment. I think we're both enjoying the freedom on a Sunday at the moment. So maybe one day, never say never, but not at the moment. But I may come back with maybe a midweek live stream at some point. Who knows? Sundays became difficult when Mum's plans changed on a Sunday. Sundays became very, very jam-packed for me, and I was like, I have to go here and there and then there and there and there and there, and fitting the live in became really stressful. Maybe another day of the week is the answer for that. That's it. Thank you for sitting through this. This second bit's 7 minutes long. I don't know how long the first bit was. It was supposed to be just a quick chatty catch-up and welcome to Favourite. Thank you for watching this video. If you are an old viewer who has waited for me to come back, thank you so much for that. If you unsubscribed during January because I wasn't putting content out, I hope you'll come back. I didn't lose very many subscribers in January, so I was very pleased about that. I thought a lot of you might all run away and go, oh, she's not putting anything out, there's no point staying subscribed. But I didn't, so that was good. I was pleased with that. And if you are new, because I've had some new subscribers in January as well, welcome to my channel. If you've joined during January, kick in the footstool. If you've joined as a subscriber during January, you may be under the impression that this is only a weight loss channel if you've only seen what I've put out, but it's not. I do a little bit of all sorts of stuff here. Some of it's worth watching, a lot of it's not. Some of it I'm amazed that anyone watches at all, but I do appreciate every single one of you and the time that you spend on my channel watching my content. I appreciate all of your comments. I read every single comment myself, and I put the little heart there to show you that I've read your comment, and I appreciate you taking the time to comment. And if you ask me a direct question, I do try to respond. Thank you. I think I've said thank you 6 times. Thank you for joining me for today's video, and I'll be back. Take care. Bye for now.